Let me ask you a question. So you're starving, you're hungry, it's 5:30 at night, and you can't find anything healthy to eat. What do you do? I'll tell you what, if you're like me, in the past, before I started my weight loss journey, I went downhill quickly because I would just grab the first thing that I could find or get fast food or something like that. But not anymore. Now I go to my emergency weight loss items, my emergency weight loss kit to lose weight. So today I'm showing you my emergency weight loss kit that has lots of items for different types of problems that I'm having to help me to lose weight. So I have many types of diet emergencies throughout the day. So I'm going to give you a list of them and see if any of these match up what you either are going through or have gone through in the past. And if you have any ideas of things that might help the rest of us, feel free to list them in the comments below because I read every comment and I know a lot of my other subscribers do. Emergency number one, I'm starved. So when I have that particular emergency, I have 2 or 3 items all the time in my refrigerator to help me get through that feeling. So let me give you a list of some of those things that help me during those times. So the first thing I keep in my refrigerator always is some type of Greek yogurt. Now there's a lot of good types of yogurt on the market, but I often opt for things that are either low in fat or no fat, low in calories, and high in protein. I found for me, my favorite yogurt of all is the Oikos Triple 13 yogurt. Now I know also they have a 20 grams of yogurt out there right now, but I'm still trying the Triple 13. There's lots of great flavors. There's almost something for everybody, and I usually add some type of berries to it. Now I can't always keep fresh berries on hand, but I always have them in the freezer. The second thing I always keep on hand is cottage cheese and fruit. Now I don't always do the fruit either, but I always have fat-free cottage cheese, and oftentimes I pair that with some sugar-free Jell-O. I always keep sugar-free Jell-O on hand. Even at night, sometimes when I'm just absolutely starving, I'll have some sugar-free Jell-O. Another thing I keep on hand are hard-boiled eggs. Now, I don't eat as many of these as some other people do just because I'm not really a hard-boiled egg fan, but I have found that 1 or 2 hard-boiled eggs really will get me over the hump. Again, it's low in calories, high in protein, and they're good for you. Turkey or chicken slices. I always have the no nitrite deli turkey or chicken slices. Sometimes I just roll those up with a little bit of mustard. Sounds crazy, but I keep protein shakes on hand, although I don't do a ton of protein shakes either, mainly because I prefer to eat my food rather than drink it. I just feel fuller if I'm eating things rather than doing protein shakes all the time. But I do have a few that I really like that have like cocoa powder, pressed peanut butter flour like PB2. I do have those things on hand, so they're kind of a treat. At the same time, they're, a healthy snack. I try to keep tuna packets on hand. Those are a great option, as well as leftover rotisserie chicken. Now, I take a rotisserie chicken a little different than a lot of people. I kind of tear the whole thing apart when I get it. I put it into small snack-sized bags and I freeze those in my refrigerator. When I'm starving, I just take it out of the plastic, put it in, wet paper towels, something like that. I'll just heat them up, defrost them. Those are delicious. I love rotisserie chicken. And so I have a store that I shop at that has, if you have a Winco near you, they actually have a black pepper and garlic rotisserie chicken. I'm heading to the store today. I'm actually going to pick one up. So That's kind of my favorite rotisserie chicken, but they're all good. Emergency number 2 is I'm dying for something sweet. Now, I have a whole playlist of Trim Healthy Mama recipes that I'm going to link above that have all kinds of desserts and sweet recipes, but I'm going to give you a couple other ideas that might help you through those sweets, times when you just got to have something sweet. Now, one of them is actually not a diet food. It's not anything like that. It actually has sugar. It does have calories. It's minimal. It's under 100 calories. I love sea suckers. And the reason I do is because they take like a half an hour to eat. And it's not like the olden days where you have 3 different flavors. Now they have, latte, chocolate mint, strawberry. And they just have all these different kinds of flavors. So I always keep a little bag of sea suckers in my drawer by the TV just in case. I don't do it all the time, but when I need something sweet, I really love those sea suckers. Another thing I buy a few of at the grocery store, I don't buy a lot of, but I do keep a couple in my refrigerator in case of a sweets emergency, is a chocolate Greek yogurt. Now, those usually have a few more carbs than my Oikos yogurt, but that's okay. We're talking emergencies here. And if you're having an emergency, you don't want to sit down and, have a chocolate milkshake or, eat up a couple candy bars or a piece of cake. Have a chocolate Greek yogurt. It's almost like a chocolate pudding. And speaking of that, I know not everybody's an instant pudding fan, but I love sugar-free instant pudding, and I do keep those on hand as well. I make them with non-fat almond milk, the unsweetened, low-calorie almond milk, and sometimes I make them with low-fat milk as well. And I just find that is like such a satisfying treat to me. I think sometimes just having a chocolate bar of dark chocolate where it's very high cacao and low in sugar, I don't think a little slice of a chocolate bar hurts at all. Occasionally we all need something. I also like to have those little chocolate mug recipes where you can just make like a little cake or something like that. Now I have a really good lemon one that I just posted last week. It's a Trim Healthy Mama option. This isn't really their lemon cake, but it's an individual mug that you can make that's a very good substitute if you're looking for like an S meal on Trim Healthy Mama, and it's a mug lemon cake. I'll list that. If I can't list it in my video, I'll list it in the description below. I'll leave the link for it so you can pull it up if you're interested. I also like to keep berries with whipped topping on hand. Now, like I said, I don't always have fresh because I'm really religious about eating my berries every day, but I do always have berries in the freezer. So I keep some fat-free or non-fat, some type of a whipped topping frozen so I don't eat it all if it's sitting in the refrigerator, because I'm that person. I don't know about you, but if I see a tub of whipped cream or whatever, I'll eat the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe I don't have any common sense. I don't know. So I keep mine in the freezer. I just take a scoop out, let it thaw on top of whatever it is I'm eating. That works for me. So I'm not the person that's going to sit here and tell you after losing 86 pounds over the last 2 years that I don't ever crave anything sweet and I just stay away from those things. It wouldn't be truthful. I do crave those things. I still crave those things. In fact, I crave those things every day. The key to, I think, my success that I've had over the last 2 years isn't the fact that I crave them. It's the fact that I prepare and have things on hand when those cravings hit, that I can manage them and continue to stay on my diet. Emergency number 3 is I don't want to cook. I mean, we all have days when we're exhausted, we're tired, we have a headache, whatever the situation. It doesn't mean you're not still going to be hungry. So I have those days too. I mean, I babysit my grandkids, several days throughout the week. And usually by the end of it, where I've had like 3 or 4 straight days in a row, I mean, I'm tired. Usually that night, I don't want to cook. and I don't want to run out and get something. And, there's a lot of calories in restaurant or fast food. So these are some of the things that I always have on hand to make my life simple. The first thing that I do is I buy those big chubs of ground turkey, not the ground beef, the ground turkey. I cook that up with peppers, different color peppers, red, yellow, green. Sometimes I'll use 2 peppers in the big chub. I also take 1 or 2 onions, cook the onions, the peppers, and the turkey all up together. I drain it of any oil or grease that was left from the turkey. Then I add a packet of taco seasoning. Sometimes I put in 2 because it's really usually the 3-pound chub that I'm talking about. And I'll put in the taco seasoning, a little bit of water, put the lid on it, stir it up, and you have something that you can put on a salad. You could put it on spaghetti squash. You could put it on, so many things. Some rice. Now, a lot of people will tell you not to eat rice. I'll tell you what, there's a trick to eating rice. I'm going to tell you what it is. Because you waited this long in the video, you're going to get my secret to eating rice. Because rice is such a delicious carbohydrate, I prefer it way over pasta. So this is how I make my rice. I use something called wakame. I'm not sure I pronounced it correctly, but this is what I use. It's a dried seaweed. So this comes dried just like this. I'm going to show you. Looks just like this. I put it in maybe a cup of water and I leave it in there for 5 or 10 minutes. It grows. It gets really big. This little bitty, seaweed turns into like a big seaweed. I strain it, I chop it up, and I cook up 1 cup of rice at a time. It actually makes like 2 cups if you've ever made rice. I take my rice when it's hot, and I chop up my seaweed into really fine pieces. Now you can even put this in a food processor after it's rehydrated if you don't want it in little tiny pieces. But I chop it up, and I just made this 2 days ago, and I put it into my rice. So it looks just like this. And this is, I'm going to show you a piece of it. This is what the seaweed kind of looks like. It's actually really good. It adds like a salty flavor to the rice. So I don't have to, cool my rice. I use either white or brown rice. It doesn't matter. I love basmati rice. It's my favorite, but I think this was brown because that's what I had. And then you let it cool. You let it cool for like 8 to 12 hours so that it changes the structure of the carbohydrates. And so then I can take it out at this point. Say I've got some of so I will take this out of the refrigerator, take like a half a cup of it, and you'll mix it with all kinds of things. I can mix it with eggs. I can mix it with, my ground turkey mixture I have, the taco seasoning. Beans if you want a complete protein. This is so good. I do this every week. And it's just another way I've found to enjoy some type of carbohydrate with my diet. And it's delicious. Give it a try. I'm going to link it below if anybody's interested in trying it. This is just the one I get off Amazon, but if you have another one that you can pick up at a store or Chinese market or something like that, give it a try. It'll change the way you eat your rice. But let me get back to my other items on the list. You can tell I love rice. So some of the meals that I have when I don't want to cook, so I also, as I said, have a lot of rotisserie chicken. I always have frozen vegetables on hand. So if I don't have fresh in the refrigerator, which, as you know, I'm in this apartment right now, I just don't have access to my garden anymore. So because of this, parasite outbreak that's going on, I'm just not eating a lot of fresh vegetables. If I get them, I cook them, or I have frozen. I'm just trying to be a little bit more careful about things. But I do like frozen vegetables with my rotisserie chicken. Just cook it up over the stove. I also really like having eggs with vegetables. I like eggs with rice. I also freeze a lot of, I cook in bulk. It's something I've always done. It's just my husband and I here, but I cook in bulk, and I typically will, maybe have a third of whatever we made between him and I for a night or two. The rest of it I freeze into like glass containers. I put these in the freezer, and I always have leftovers I can pull out of like lazy lasagna, my Trim Healthy Mama recipes, or, some kind of an egg roll in a bowl, or my spaghetti squash spaghetti. I always have meals in my freezer that I can take out, defrost, and heat up on nights I don't want to cook. Another thing I really like doing are cottage cheese bowls. I mean, those are so easy. You can add anything to a cottage cheese bowl. Fruit, vegetables, salad. I mean, they're just delicious. Last week, my husband and I made some cottage cheese bowls for a couple of nights that had like vegetables, cottage cheese. I put some rotisserie chicken on it, some seasoned salt. So good. So try to have those things on hand if they're things you enjoy, and you'll always make sure that you are able to have dinners and recipes available on nights you don't want to cook. So number 4 emergency for me is I want salty food. Now I'll be honest, I'm not somebody who craves a ton of salty foods. I'm, 9 times out of 10 will pick sweets. But occasionally I do like some salty foods. So I'll pick things like nuts, salted nuts, small amounts of them. I also keep on hand sometimes pork rinds. Now, I don't eat a ton of pork rinds, but I love to keep them on hand for a substitution for breadcrumbs. I'll just put them in a hand blender, blend them up, and substitute in my meatloaf or whatever. Pork rinds for the breadcrumbs. They're just a better kind of a keto hack that I've read about, and they've worked good for me. Another thing I love is I love those little Persian cucumbers that you can buy at the grocery store, and I put tahini on them. I love tahini. It's a chili lime seasoning blend that I buy at the grocery store. I put that on sliced apples. I put that on sliced cucumbers. That is one salty food I actually crave. And I also love pickles. I mean, I don't have any canned pickles right now. We've eaten them all from last year, but I do buy some of the crunchy dill pickles, and I do keep those in the refrigerator if I'm craving something salty or vinegary. And last emergency, and this is probably my biggest challenge that I have had since I have started dieting is it is 8 o'clock at night and I still think I'm hungry. I need to snack. I want to crunch. I want to munch. That's my big emergency that I have struggled with since I started this weight loss program that I've been on for the last couple years. So nighttime is the time I really have to prepare. I cannot run out of things that are going to be healthy options for me because I'll be honest with you, I will cheat. So like I said, I love those Wassa crackers. If you've never had them, they're 2 large crackers that you can have. So this is how I store my Wassa crackers. So this is what they look like. They come in sourdough, multigrain, rye. I think there's another one, I can't remember what it was. But anyway, they're called Wassa. And I love this sourdough one. It's really my favorite. Look how big these crackers are. They're huge. So I can have 2 of those crackers. They're 35 calories a piece. They have 0 grams of fat. They have 9 carbohydrates and 2 grams of fiber, so 7 net carbs, and they're 1 gram of protein. So they're not a high protein snack, but you know what? When you're craving something, you really need it when you're hungry at night. That's a super good option for me. And sometimes I'll put like a piece of deli meat over it or something like that. It's perfect. It's just enough to satisfy me the rest of the night. I also really like to slice up an apple like I talked about. I'll put tahini on that. Sometimes I'll have a sea sucker. I mean, I just try to think of things that first are going to take a long time to eat. Maybe they seem like a lot of food, but they're not really a lot of calories or a lot of fat or that kind of thing. And I really try my best to think, are you hungry or are you just bored? Are you just wanting to eat because it's 8 o'clock at night and that's what you like to do? And sometimes I can talk myself out of it and not do anything. And that's what I try the best to do. But I don't always do it. I mean, I'm not perfect with any of this. I'm just trying to share things with you that I think have worked really well for me. And if you have any ideas of things that you have in your emergency weight loss kit, if you could share them with others, I think that would be really beneficial. So that's my emergency weight loss kit. I hope it was helpful to somebody out there. I hope if you're on this weight loss journey with me or you're on your own journey that things are going well for you. I've gotten through mine over the last 2 years. It's been slow going, really. It hasn't been, it sounds like a lot, but this is 2 years I've been doing this. And I look at this as a change in my complete lifestyle. I have changed so many things. And I have so many neat things that are going to be coming up over the next couple of months. I hope you'll stay tuned and again, share ideas or things that you'd like to see, things that might be beneficial that I could share with you. And other than that, I'm done for today. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my channel. Give me a like or a quick thumbs up. Ring that bell for future notifications, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.